Hi everyone, and welcome to this edition of Abbey Research Reads. Today I am talking about Headscarves and Hymens, Why the Middle East Needs a Sexual Revolution by Mona Eltahawy, which I believe I'm pronouncing wrong even though I've listened to interviews with her at least 6 times to try to get it correct. But I'm trying. So this is a physically tiny little book. Like you can see, it's only about the size of my hand. But man, is it incendiary and powerful. And it is a manifesto of what it is like to be a Muslim woman in the 21st century and the kind of ways that women have particularly responded to the Arab Spring and how the world has responded to women after the Arab Spring of 2010, and why there are so many different opinions about like how people should behave. So more than anything, what this book reminds me is something that I learned when I was in grad school, which is that people who are not Muslim and who do not have a relationship with a veil do not get to dictate other people's relationships with veils. We don't get to assume that somebody is imprisoned by the veil simply because they wear it, and because we don't understand it. And she talks extensively in this about a Muslim woman who both wore a veil and didn't wear a veil, what it means about her feminism, what it means about her humanity, and how she kind of handles it. How do you fight? How are you still a faithful person of a religion that you sometimes find inherently oppressive? And what is the difference between system and faith? And what is the difference between culture and faith? And in Muslim-dominated countries, is that even a possible polemic that you can have? These are all questions that she's tackling. I felt more than anything like I was listening in on a conversation that wasn't mine, but that she was being gracious enough to have in public so I could learn. I don't wear a veil. My faith does not ask me to do so. And neither does my culture. I have no idea what I would be doing personally if I grew up in a place where a veil was asked for. I don't know. What I do know is that I have my own versions of that I wrestle with as a person of faith. I claim Christianity. And I am also, just like she is, very, very embarrassed by a lot of public Christianity, as she is embarrassed by a lot of public Islam. And I wrestle a lot with what does this mean and how do I remain faithful in this particular context, and what about this outward sign versus inward sign, and what does that all look like? And in something that is inherently political these days, and probably always, my history is a little bit shaky, but probably always in terms of political identity, to have her tackling a headscarf is significant. She also talks very frankly about sexual assault in this, talks very frankly about rape, talks very, very frankly about feeling entirely valued by the presence or absence of a hymen within your body. Like I said, it is incendiary in the best ways. It's going to burn away quite a lot of potentially your understandings of what it is like to be a modern Muslim woman, if that is not your story. If it is your story, if you are somebody watching this and who identifies and is Muslim and has read this book, I'd love to hear what you've thought. I've been reading a couple reviews. It seems like it's kind of divided out there, people who think this is really necessary reading and people who think that this is not great. I found it really thought-provoking, and which is why I'm recommending it, because I find it really thought-provoking, not necessarily that I have any idea if Mona is correct. There's certainly elements of her story that feel powerful and correct to me. But again, we here at Abbey Research are all about empathy-building reads and how to walk around in other people's shoes. And so Mona gave us 200 pages of her shoes to walk around in, and I can't recommend them enough. So that's it for me here on Abbey Research Reads. We'll see you next time.